Welcome to UNCAGED, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. I'm here today with Jeff Mergy. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really interested in talking to you about what you guys are working on. Jeff is the Chief Product Officer at Bold Metrics, which is a business that's changing the way world's most innovative brands design, produce, and sell apparel by deploying a comprehensive set of machine learning and data science products and technologies that accurately predict consumer body measurements. So you can actually buy things virtually, digitally, all of these fun things. We'll go more into what Bold Metrics is rolling out and how that's shaping kind of the new retail landscape. But before we get there, Jeff, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career.
Yeah, thanks, man. Again, appreciate you having me on the show. I like to think of myself and my career as kind of a product innovator with a lot of range. So what I mean by that is I've worked in a lot of different industries, and I think I've brought things that I've learned from each of those industries along the way. And I've learned a ton by kind of bouncing around. I started in electronics. I worked for HP, innovating processes. Then I moved into the world of golf and actually led materials innovation and discovery for Ping, the golf company. And, the next 10 years after that, I spent in the footwear and apparel industry, first at Crocs for a bit when it was the heydays, and then at Columbia Sportswear for almost 8 years, leading a new innovation team that would support kind of initiatives that would differentiate the Columbia Sportswear brands in the technology space. And that experience really at Columbia, we kind of operated as a startup within a large organization. And we had a multidisciplinary team. We had to learn fast, adapt. We, 1 month could be working on a new way to test rainwear. The next month, innovating a new fabric that's going to keep you drier than anything else out there. And then maybe the next week working on some kind of new grip for ice. So the projects were never routine. It was not like our team was just designing jackets or new t-shirts, every season. It was really creating the innovations and technologies that would differentiate the Columbia brands. So that gave me like a real understanding of kind of what it's like in that startup zone where you're continuously learning and doing new things. So.
And a ton of kind of retail related or apparel related innovation there as well. And now you find yourself at Bold Metrics, and tell me a little bit more about what you guys are doing there.
Yeah, so I've been at Bold Metrics about 3.5 years, and joined when the company was tiny. I mean, we're still small, but fast growing. And we have a technology that uses AI and machine learning to predict consumers' body measurements, as you mentioned. And that's really our core technology that it powers all of our products. The company started actually providing body measurements to custom clothers and tailors. And we have an amazing founder story. Our CEO grew up kind of in the tailoring space and sought out to create a way for custom clothers to, instead of having to measure someone with a measuring tape, they could actually digitally get body measurements. And that's how the company started. And around the time I joined, we started to move into size recommendation for ready to wear products in a totally different way that had been done in the past. There's other companies that have done it with brand translations or body doubles, but we actually use the shopper's body measurements and the product information. So we can show how something's going to fit on somebody. We can allow them to take into account their own personal fit preference, because we all don't wear our clothes the same way, as you know. And the end results is really a great customer experience, but also a product that builds trust and gets people the right size. So you don't have to buy two and return one. And you know, help our clients really cut down on the massive returns problem that the industry is facing today.
Yeah, I mean, I can only see the upside here of what you guys are delivering. And certainly as people are now shopping more and more online, the need for this data is going to become more and more critical. I can tell you, I suffer from that. Being a kind of a tall, big guy, I constantly misorder clothes. I constantly misorder clothes. So
we're here for you.
Yeah, so I'm glad that Bold Metrics is here for me. So tell me, Jeff, you are the Chief Product Officer, and it's an interesting time really to be driving technology businesses, and certainly ones that are playing in the retail space. When you reach out and you think about what your customers are thinking about right now, what are the key important issues for them right now?
Yeah, I think in the apparel industry today, a lot of people are thinking about sustainability, and you know, the industry gets a lot of grief, as it should, for the impact that it has on the environment. So I think that's one of the key messages in the industry is how do we become more sustainable as an industry. I think technology is also coming into play. I mean, you look at what's going on with the metaverse and, you know, how that's going to change the way people shop in a Web3 environment. Companies, you know, the fast movers, the early adopters are starting to think about that and what are they going to do? And then, you know, kind of our bread and butter right now, like where we're having growth is really on the return side. So how do we help clients like solve this issue of so much stuff ending up in landfills or not being sold and being returned? I mean, the stats are pretty insane when you look at, you know, some latest research from NRF has said that there's over 51 billion US dollars being spent, or returns are valued actually at 51 billion US dollars, which is insane. And 52% of that is because of fit. It didn't fit, or they return it because they, you know, they didn't
and what
fit
generally happens with that product? Does it get resold, or is that the end for that?
Yeah. It varies by the company. I mean, some companies will spend the time to inspect and re-put it in inventory. Some send it downstream to, you know, other partners that sell not new or brand new products. Right. And some, it just goes in the landfill because it's cheaper to do that than actually process the return.
Wow.
So it's just, I mean, it's a staggering amount of impact on the environment that returns have. And, you know, one stat I thought was interesting is, you know, because of just how much we're shipping stuff back and forth with the CO2 emissions, returns in apparel accounts for over 1 million tons of CO2 emissions. And to put that into perspective, that's the amount of energy it is to be on a Zoom call with someone for 18 million years. So I like talking to you, but I mean, that's a long time to be chatting.
Don't worry, Jeff. This interview won't last for 18 million years. I can promise you that. Yeah. But I mean, it is incredible the amount of energy that you're talking about being utilized in that situation. And so any solution, especially the work that you guys are doing that can make that a much more efficient process, is absolutely critical. And so you've been at the business over the last 3 years. So you've really lived this pandemic moment with Bold Metrics. Tell us a little bit about that experience. I mean, here you are, a hot new company, and suddenly you find yourselves in the midst of this pandemic. How did that shape the way you guys did things?
Well, we had one big advantage in that we were already a remote company. So prior to the pandemic, we had decided to be remote. So we kind of already were used to working in that way. Now, we did see each other a lot because we would travel and visit clients and go to events. So that was the big adjustment, is like I went for like 2 years without face-to-face with people on my team, right? So I think like many people did in remote companies. But honestly, the pandemic, it accelerated our company, I think, because as you know, e-commerce became the only way to buy. And we saw growth in the industry of e-com that wasn't expected for like 5 years happen basically overnight. So what that did was, elevate the need for solutions like us on returns, because all of a sudden, if everyone's buying online, they can't try stuff on in your stores. You're going to notice your return problem really quickly. So that brought the issue, I think, up to the higher level at apparel companies pretty quickly and got us into conversations that maybe we wouldn't have had as early as we had them due to the pandemic. So
yeah, I can see very clearly how it could have been an accelerator for the need and the interest in what you're doing. I also can imagine that not only the product for end customers is valuable here, but wow, the data, just even the aggregated data from what you guys are doing, the anonymous data, just from a sizing perspective. Is that something you guys are also getting into?
Yeah, that's one of the things that really sets us apart. So we like to think of ourselves as first a body data company. And one of the things that we can do is size recommendation and fitting online, virtual try on, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like the data that we can scalably collect on a brand's actual shoppers has a ton of potential for uses across an organization, not just in e-commerce. So you think about being able to market to your customers something that's going to fit them, being able to plan a better supply chain, knowing how bodies are different globally or regionally, being able to find fit models to put on your website that actually represent your shoppers and not just a fashion model. There's some innovative uses for this data that we're starting to see some of our clients take advantage of, and really develop products that will help the front end creation of apparel, which kind of goes back to my experience in the apparel space. But I mean, if you can arm a product team with this type of data on their actual shoppers, you can fix a lot of the fit issues up front before stuff even goes to market. So we're really excited about that side of what we do, and really creating this circle of our clients being able to learn from what they sell and improve it as they get that data back.
So Jeff, we went from the pandemic into probably, what do you say, from the griddle right to the frying pan or whatever it is, but right into 2022, where there's tons and tons of new problems and challenges. What do you see on the horizon for what you guys are working on, and how is the marketplace going to shift over the next, let's say, year?
I mean, like I said, we're working on building our team out, right? So we closed our Series A in March, and so we've been hiring spree and getting the right people in the right roles. I'm super excited with the team we have now, and we're enhancing our current products. We're building new products that take into account that data to give our clients access and be able to use that in ways that I just kind of went through. And then we have some stuff going on in the metaverse and virtual try on as well. So super excited about like what we're working on. And
we all saw that video of Zuckerberg in his t-shirt. Seemed a little tight. Maybe he needed the Bold Metrics product before he fit into it.
But we're in a good spot. I mean, our core technology has a lot of potential, mainly because of how easy it is for someone to use. We don't require any photos or scans. It's just answer some questions, and using our AI and machine learning, we can actually accurately predict that person's body. And we see, as soon as you ask someone to put on tight fitting clothes and take photos of themselves, you're going to get way less adoption. And that's kind of our advantage, is being able to get people to use the product, and our clients take advantage of their customers using it.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, it's been great talking with you. We've been speaking with Jeff Mergy. He is the Chief Product Officer at Bold Metrics. They are doing a ton of cool stuff, but really the area they're focused on is innovating with brands and helping them really make the most of the data that they're collecting from kind of sizing, and also giving them the technology to do that effectively. Bold Metrics is quite an innovative company, and if you are in the apparel sector, in the retail sector, if you're doing any form of body related measurement, this is the technology. And Jeff, if someone wanted to learn more about what you guys are working on, where should they go?
Yeah, you can check us out at boldmetrics.com. Shoot me a note, jeff@boldmetrics.com. Lots of content out there on us.
Excellent. Well, listen, Jeff, thanks so much for being on UNCAGED Day, and we look forward to having you back.
Yeah, thanks so much, Bant. Appreciate it.